Hey, great day. I wanted to take the time to do a quick voiceover over this particular video and just kind of explain what it is that you see me doing throughout the process of me making cold processed soap. Please excuse the noise in the background and any extra wind you hear. I'm trying to get it to where it's not too loud and overpowering. But in today's video, I will be showing my process when I rebatch soap. Sometimes the things that make me rebatch soap is if I make it and it doesn't lather how I want it to, or the bubbles are not there. So usually what I do, I take it and I'll cut it into the cubes that you see, and then from there I cut them in the cubes, and then I kind of just sit it off to the side. I go ahead and get my recipe together, which for the most part I do 100% honestly coconut oil. Well, not 100%. It's like 90% coconut oil, and then 10% of another oil or whatnot. But I do a coconut batch. I'll add some coconut milk to it, and go ahead and bring that to a medium trace, sometimes a thick trace, but I bring that to a trace, and then I add in my cubes, and of course, put in a mold, and then I go ahead and let it harden up for about, on average, I say for about 2 days. I used to only let my batter sit in the mold for 24 hours, but now it's better. I like the firmness of it more when it comes out after 2 days. So in this particular video, I had enough left over to where I was able to create minis, which was a great thing. And I thought about that being something that I do in the future, is offer minis of the bigger soaps. But I only did it this one time with this particular batch. So I had the minis, and then I have the regular square batch, which usually those bars, I want to say is about 4.5 to 5 ounces. I cut all of my soaps inch and a quarter thick. In this particular batch, this was my oatmeal milk and honey. I did use that particular fragrance, and that fragrance oil did kind of darken the batch of soap. So although right here it looks like a creamy yellow, it turns to, I guess, like a creamier, darker tan color. And something I love about Rebatch is that you get a completely different bar of soap. So like I said, originally this was my oatmeal milk and honey bar, and I didn't really care for the lather. I wanted it stronger than what it was, which lets me know that I needed to tweak my numbers for when I make a future recipe of it. But in the end, I was able to, take my cubes and put it in this particular batch, and it turned out even better. And of course, with coconut oil, you're going to get a wonderful lather, a wonderful bubbles, big, nice bubbles at that. And so I always like rebatching stuff as well, because not only do you get the ingredients of the new batch that you're using, but you also get the effects, the remnants of the cubes or the shreds or whatnot that you use. In my case, it would be the cubes, and I loved it. I sold this pretty fast. I think I do still have some of the minis left that I do plan to put on my website, but the turnout from this was wonderful. And when I say the turnout, I mean both in terms of how it lathered, the bubbles, how it made the skin feel because of the addition of the coconut milk and everything. It just it did wonderful for me. When I sold it, I had a lot of people tell me that they loved it. Aesthetics wise, I loved how the cubes looked, especially when I cut it, and I like how I did the addition of adding the cubes to the top of the soap too. Almost kind of like when you get a drink and you see the ice cubes, kind of like sitting on top of the drink or whatever. But like I said, it did wonderful for me. I did still use the same fragrance oil I used. It's actually oatmeal milk and honey from Brambleberry, and it was nice. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. Like I said, I usually rebatch bars when I know, like, it may not have turned out how I wanted it to be, whether it was like in how the formula turned out, because sometimes I'll rebatch soap, the formula is wonderful, but it may not look how I want it to look, like aesthetic wise. I'm like, nah, I can't sell that. But like I said, once I take it and I shred it or either cut it up into cubes, baby, I end up with a whole new bar of soap that is just, it's wonderful, honestly. And I think sometimes that is what helps it sell as well is just how beautiful it looks, the aesthetics of it. I will say that rebatch bars are those are always kind of like your, I guess you could say in a sense your once in a lifetime things, because I feel like with rebatch soaps, that's the time to kind of play around and try out new things, try out colors, try out a fragrance oil, just just to see how it go. Maybe if you have a fragrance oil and you didn't like how it initially smelled, like it's not a bad scent, but you realize it's not something you're gonna use, do some rebatch soap and recycle it. I try to make sure that I keep my waste to a minimum. Like seriously, keep my waste to a serious minimum. So I can promise you that you will see more rebatch soaps in the future, because I have tons of shreds from me beveling my soap and just other batches that I have cut into cubes, whether I had like 1 or 2 bars left and I'm like, I can use that for something else. I would definitely take it and either cut it into cubes or just shred it on down. And like he's saying, the turnout of it is always great. The minis to this now, when it came down to packaging, what I ended up having to do, I put the minis in shrink wrap because I didn't have a box for it. But coming up here shortly, you'll see that my square my square bars, my regular size square bars, I was able to put into the packaging that I have for those, and it fit in there perfectly, perfectly. And just all around, I was very proud of this one. Very proud of it. I do have other rebatch soaps that I have done, but like I said, this one right here had to be the best, from how it looked to how it lathered, the bubbles, to how it fit in the packaging. It was nice all around. And that oatmeal milk and honey scent is very nice. It's creamy, it's soothing, it's not overpowering. Right here, you'll see where I'm using my bigger camera to, do video footage of it, just to kind of show it, because if you make products, you understand that sometimes you have to take advantage of getting footage for other social media platforms when you make stuff. So more than likely what you see me there doing is getting just regular pictures, but also maybe doing like quick clips for me to be able to upload onto Instagram and everything. Now here's what I'm talking about, where you'll be able to see the footage. That is exactly what I was just recording in a previous clip with my camera, just going back and forth, just to show how everything turned out with the cut and just how it looked overall. I will be posting. I have, like I said, I have another video that I've already done. I just need to do a voiceover and add the music to. But I will be posting that in about a week to show what I did with that one. And it was kind of a similar process. Just I use different things to kind of make it more unique. And like I said, when you rebatch soap, those are kind of like your one-time batches. And I say one-time because once you make it, the chance of you either remaking that same creation, it may be a little hard. So those are one of those, if you want it, you got to get it when you see it. But check out this packaging. You see what I mean? Like, look how perfect that looks. I couldn't have did it any other way. I just want to say thank you for watching my video. I hope that you enjoy. When you have a moment, please like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to come back for my next videos. I have quite a few, and I look forward to going through the content I have to share. Bye.